Good evening, everyone. It is 7:02. I would like to call the meeting of the Village Board for Tuesday, March 24th to order, please. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Deputy Clerk, I'm sorry, I didn't need a motion there, but thank you.
That's all right.
I'll ask you.
We were
See, I
covering
just,
with
for
it.
you.
I'm going to do it anyway. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orth?
Here.
Trustee Whitaker?
Here.
Trustee Fowler?
Here.
Trustee Gallen?
Here.
Trustee Yedis?
Here.
Trustee Elfman?
Here.
President Mendrick?
Here. First item of business is the village president's report, and I am going to keep it really brief. I just want to, again, for anyone who was not in attendance for the committee of the whole meeting, thank the Hap Road Committee for all of their hard work and the presentation that they just gave us in the last session. It was a wonderful report, and it's great to see our community come together and so many people be in the audience to hear the results. So that is all I have today for my report. The next item of business is public comment, and as you all know, at our public meetings, we open the floor to those who wish to address the village board. If you have any comments you would like to make, please come to the podium, let us know your name, and again, keep it in the 3-minute time frame, please.
My name's Annie Challenger. I've been in the village a long time, and I don't really come to these meetings. I think I should come more often. Just going off of the Hap Road report, and as a real estate agent, I think it's really important for us as a village to make our district walkable. There's a lot of people in our New Trier district that come to look for property, and they don't choose Northfield because it's not a walkable community. And I think it's really important for us to get up to speed with everyone else and to be that walkable village and to invite families to come here because it is a great village, and I think we lose out not having that. We're the lowest taxes feeder district into New Trier, and we lose people because we're not a walkable village, and it's an easy thing to start working on, and maybe it'll take us 10 years to get there, but it behooves us to start now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I'm back just to make a couple of announcements, and one is for Kaya, who's usually here. She wanted me to remind people about the summer luncheon that will be at the Senior Center, and the information, it is April 30th. The information's on the League of Women Voters website. And then I have one announcement about our next caucus meeting, which is going to be a town hall, and we'll probably be able, this is April 23rd, we will probably be able to bring more information to you for your next meeting, which is in April. So just wanted to make that announcement, and we're hoping to get a good turnout and a lot of input for our revision of the platform, although I think we're rather current with our platform because we're advocating things that you've now done in our last platform. So thank you very much again for the committee.
Beverly, before you sit down, the meeting, where is the meeting being held? Is it in the?
Sunset Ridge School.
So will you be live streaming then, since you're in a different location?
Will we do what?
Will you be live streaming that, since you'll be in a larger location? I don't know if Sunset Ridge affords that, but I wondered if you had considered it.
Considered what location, I'm sorry?
Live streaming your meeting because it's at
Oh,
Sunset
live
Ridge
streaming
School.
it? We might, I don't know
Okay.
if they can do it. We'll think about that. We're in the
right.
planning stages.
Thank you.
Sarah.
Anyone else?
Thank you so much. I prepared something because I just want to make sure I get it right. So my name's Phil Atterbury. I'm here tonight to ask you to take action specifically against 7-hydroxymitragynine. It's called 7-OH. And to consider banning its sale within Northfield. I want to be clear that I'm not here to talk about THC or kratom as a whole. My concern is with 7-OH, a highly potent kratom alkaloid that is being sold in concentrated, often poorly regulated forms. This isn't the same as traditional kratom leaf, These 7OH products are engineered for stronger, faster effects and are being marketed in gas stations, smoke shops, and other retail settings that are easily young people can access. From a public health standpoint, this raises concerns. We have substances with opioid-like properties in a concentrated form being sold with minimal oversight, unclear labeling, and aggressive marketing. That combination increases the risk of dependence, adverse reactions, and dangerous interactions with other substances. It also puts local families and first responders in a position of dealing with a problem that is completely unavoidable. From a youth access perspective, the current retail environment makes it too easy. Products with high levels of 7OH are often sold in colorful packaging, right alongside energy drinks, vapes, and candy at places our teens already go. Even if a store has an age 21 policy, the reality is that weak ID checks and online promotion make it easy for underage users to get exposed. There are also real implications for local businesses and law enforcement. When these products are sold in town and people experience negative effects, the complaints and calls land here, not with an out-of-state manufacturer. That affects our police, our EMS, and our healthcare system, and it can damage the reputation and legitimate local retailers who are trying to operate responsibly. Given these risks, I'm asking the board to direct staff to draft an ordinance that bans the retail sale of products containing concentrated 7OH within the village of Northfield, and to bring that back to you for discussion for public hearing. This would not target THC or traditional kratom itself, but would focus on the most potent high risk of 7OH formulations in our community.
I'm sorry, sir, can you tell me your name again?
So my name is Phil Atterbury. I own a clinic called Brightside. We do addiction recovery for
Okay.
opioid use disorder.
Okay, so you're not a Northfield resident. I just wanted to,
No,
Okay.
I'm local though. I'm
Yep.
right down the street in Winnetka.
Right,
So, but
right.
it's been banned in Winnetka already.
Yep.
They've already banned it in Winnetka. And I tell you, if I could tell you that in our addiction clinic, we've seen a 140% increase in people coming to our clinic of all ages. So people are banning it. And I would ask that you try to ban it yourself.
thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your input. Anyone else? Okay. All right, our next item of business is the approval of bills and disbursements from February 2026. I'm going to make a motion in a second. May I have a motion and a second to approve the bills and disbursements, please?
Approval to pass the bills and disbursements?
Second.
Patrick, are there any items you wish to comment on or point out to us?
The only thing I wanted to bring to your attention is the payments to the asphalt company for the installation of a water main. It is Everlast Blacktop who is installing the water main. They've made good progress on that. These are the first two payments. We're at a point now where they're waiting for a permit from the county to do work on the county street, but that new water service line is active and functioning.
Any questioners or comments from the board on anything? Anything from the public on this specific item? Okay, Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orth?
Here, present, yes.
Trustee Whitaker?
Yes.
Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Yedis?
Yes.
Trustee Elfman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is the omnibus vote consent agenda. This is the section of our agenda where one vote can be called to approve a number of items. Are there any items that any board member would like to remove from the consent agenda? Nope. Okay, I just want to make, before I ask for a motion, I just wanted to, there's a couple new commission appointments to Plan and Zoning Commission. Jennifer Suker, who is being reappointed, and Ashley Gaines, who will now be taking over for Connie Berman. Connie's term expired this fall, and she was serving until we found someone who could take over that role, and we have done that. So I want to thank Connie for all her long service. Kathy, how long have did we serve with Connie? She's been on Plan and Zoning for eight, yeah, something like that. Yeah, so it's been great to have her, and we're excited to have Ashley join the commission. On that note, may I have I'm sorry, Deputy Clerk, would you please read?
There are 3 items under the consent items. The first is the approval of minutes from the February 24th, 2026 meeting. The second is the approval of a proposal from Gawalt Hamilton for professional engineering GIS services in the amount of $31,500. And the third is the consent to reappoint Jennifer Suker to the Plan and Zoning Commission for the term August 2025 to August 2029, and appoint Ashley Gaines to the Plan and Zoning Commission for the term March 2026 to March 2030.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board? No? Okay. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orr?
Need a
Okay.
motion, please.
Everybody nodded that I had gotten the motion. All right. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. All right. Now, Deputy Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Orr?
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker?
Yes.
Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Yedis?
Yes.
Trustee Elfman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. The next item is the adoption of an ordinance amending Chapter 14 of the Village Code concerning nuisances. May I have a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Steve, would you like to give us a little background on this?
You bet. Thank you, Madam President. The staff is recommending the adoption of an ordinance to provide the village with better tools to combat the properties that create chronic nuisances in our village. The proposed ordinance defines a nuisance property with criteria such as structures that are unfit for occupancy, unsafe buildings, and properties with multiple violations of our code's nuisance and property maintenance regulations. The ordinance allows a judge to issue temporary restraining orders, to order the emergency closure of a property that is an immediate threat to public harm or welfare, and to order the removal of any offending structure, activity, or condition. It also allows a judge to impose civil penalties between $500 and $750 for each day a nuisance continues. That's the just general outline of what the ordinance provides, and staff is happy to answer any questions.
All right. Any comments or questions from the board? Any comments, questions from the public on this item? All right, Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orr?
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker?
Yes.
Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Yedis?
Yes.
Trustee Elfman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. The next item, if I can get through it correctly, we'll see here. This evening, we are conducting a public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. So I'm asking our deputy clerk to please call the roll.
You first need a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second. It's okay.
Okay. I am reading right from this sheet of paper, and that's not what it says, but we'll get it right. Okay. All right.
It's a quirk of the attorney who's at tonight's meeting.
Okay. Deputy clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orr?
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker?
Yes.
Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Yedis?
Yes.
Trustee Elfman?
Yes.
President Mendrick?
Here. Okay, so we have a quorum, and I declare the public meeting open at 7:16 PM. Manager Brennan, will you provide an overview of the budget, and then we'll open up the floor to questions?
I would be happy to. I see a couple new faces, but let me, some of you have been through this process in our committee of the whole meetings as we move forward. So our budget process really starts early in the season as we start looking at what our projections are, monitoring this, basically the budget season, if you will, all the way through. You see before you the list of the items that we've done preparing for this evening. So why budget? Well, first of all, it's legally required. but also it's good management practice for us to be able to keep track of our revenues, expenses, and move forward on a plan for achieving goals and objectives. So I will not have you undergo the pain of me reading all of these because you are all able to see that. But we do what's called fund budgeting, and we break our accounts into several different funds. And you see the listing of the primary funds there, in which we separate our monies to be able to track different activities. The general fund is what you'll hear us spend most of the time talking about this evening, because it's the larger of our funds and it's the main operating fund. So within the general fund are generally the goals and objectives that we have for the year. Some of these will be in a different fund, but this is a list that the board looked at early on and decided here's what we'd like to have accomplished during the year. We do that early in the budget process, so as we're developing the budget, we can make sure that the necessary funds are available to achieve these goals. So this graphic shows you a trend of our revenues and expenditures over time. So we start out in fiscal year 2020, which is the year 2019 through 2020. Our fiscal year starts on May 1st. You see a couple of negative years there. For example, in fiscal year 2025, that's because the village decided to transfer additional funds to the capital improvement fund to help keep things moving in a good direction with that fund when we had the ability to. So, but for that surplus, the revenue over expenditure would have been positive that year. For the fiscal year 27 budget as proposed, we're net positive $26,477. So, unlike home budgets, we budget for both revenues and expenditures. So you see here a breakdown of the revenues by category of how that breaks out. And for a village manager, I get a little excited about this pie chart because we are seeing what is almost the ideal breakdown of revenues. You see about a third of property taxes, a third of state shared taxes, things like home rule sales tax and local government distributive fund. And then the remaining third is other. That breakdown of a third, a third, a third is the target. And that is because of something that you've heard me talk about recently, and that is elastic and inelastic revenues. So your taxes of property taxes are inelastic. They're pretty dependable. Your other third for shared taxes can vacillate dramatically during a year, and that's something we've been seeing this year. Expenditures, similar pie chart. You see that about 50% of our expenses in the general fund relate to wages, the actual paying of employees, with 25% of that related to what I call employment expenses, pension expenses, health insurance, et cetera. We contract out about 16% of our projects to the general fund, and then you see $911,000 for interfund transfers. That is almost completely an obligation going to the capital improvement fund to be able to fund vehicles and other improvements. So let's start looking at what we do by department. You see the police department taking up almost 50% of the budget. It's a little unfair to the police department as you see that because part of that is the employment expenses related to the pension obligations. So for example, our pension obligation went up $296,000 or is predicted to this year. So it drives that number up significantly more. Conversely, in the fire department, you see is about 23% of the budget. The village has a very unique way of approaching fire services where we do not have full-time firefighters. So we're not required to have a pension fund for firefighters. So you see a much smaller composition there. And you see the other operating departments broken out additionally. So we also look at it by department, how are we separating our expenditures? So you see here the pie chart for administration and finance. Wages are about 42% of the expenditures, benefits an additional 9%, and you see a large percentage there of contractual. That's professional services, things that we engage through the general fund of getting done throughout the year. We rely heavily on that because often those projects change year to year. So by hiring contractors to provide that service, we can engage them as needed, and the next year, if we don't need it, we don't budget for it. Here's community development. Police department. You see there, as I mentioned earlier, the large slice of 40% in benefits. Where you look at community development, it's 18%. So the pension obligation definitely drives that in a strong way. For non-sworn people, we have IMRF, Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. It's a different type of pension fund, and our contractual obligations are different. Finally, we're wrapping up with the public works slide. And now I'll hit our other funds. So as I mentioned, the general fund is our primary operating fund, but we have several other funds that we use to keep track of our mains, of our expenses. So in the water and sewer fund this year, we have a number of key projects planned. One of those is a water main replacement we've talked a lot about on Hap Road and Harding. That's anticipated to be about a $2 million project. You'll see shortly that drives that fund into a negative position, and I'll explain that a little bit more later. And you see the other key objectives that are happening in the water and sewer fund. You have a combined fund there where the rates combined and the projects are combined between water and sanitary sewer. Capital Improvement Fund, as I mentioned earlier, we had about a $944,000, if I remember, transfer to the Capital Improvement Fund. Those are several of the key projects we've talked about during our capital improvement budgeting 2 months ago. And then a fund overview. You see the second in the line is the water and sewer fund. If you look over near the right-hand side of that column, you see the net for water and sewer is a negative 1.1, almost $1.2 million. That water fund project of HAP is about a $2 million project that's budgeted. So, but for that, we would be positive in the water fund. And it's okay to be negative because you see the fund balance in the water fund for $5.6 million. So that 1.1 million will draw against that 5.6 million in savings. And the next fiscal year, you'll see a lower fund balance because we had spent that savings. This is very much in keeping with our goal of being what I call pay-go. Save up the money, do a project, go get it done, and then save up again before you take the next one. That helps us avoid having finance costs related to borrowing money. So we're using taxpayer dollars more efficiently, and we're not paying nothing against the banks or bondholders, but we're trying to put your dollars to work as much as possible when we can. You see the remaining funds there. Number of negatives, but it's because we are really have a lot of projects planned for this coming year to move some things forward. So this is a little bit of a busy chart, but it's one that I think is important to show and explain just a little bit. So this chart shows where the village has borrowed money in the past, general obligation bonds. And I'll take your attention to the screen just a little bit. So the top green bar is Series 2016. So in 2016, you borrowed $2.2 million to be paid off in 2030. The bonds are about a 1.8% expense or yield on those bonds. You see a star at the top of this line, and if you follow that down, generally 10 years after you issue bonds, they become callable, which means that if the village decided it could pay the remaining balance off and be done with that bond. It's important for me to keep track of that because there are times you may want to. But you see this column over here on the right? On the 23rd, I checked the municipal bond rating for groups like us that are AAA rated. A 10-year bond is 2.8%, a 30-year bond is 4.35%. The people who invested in this bond would probably love for us to pay it off early because they can then take that money and invest it at a higher yield. So while it's callable, I would never recommend that. The other two, same amount of information. They're callable 10 years out. Their interest rates aren't too bad, but when we get close to callable time, we'll be looking at what the current rate is in the market. I don't think we'll see a 1.8% for a long, long time, but we may get in the spot where that 2.4, 2.5% is attractive for us to refinance those bonds, pay them off sooner. So we keep an eye on that, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We pay our residents pay just over $600,000 a year in property taxes related to those bonds. So when this one drops off in 2030, taxpayers will see about a $180,000 drop in the obligation to pay those bonds off that are automatically on the property taxes every year until paid off. So I went through that fairly quickly. So any questions, I can go back to anything or address any questions you may have.
I just want to say thank you to Patrick and Kathleen for doing such a nice job of putting together a visually appealing series of charts. And you made it, it appears to be human-made, and it actually has good bullet points and good information without an overwhelming amount of words. That's obviously in the packet, but this was a great presentation. I think it helps the board really understand our finances, but also the public hopefully as well.
Thank you.
Also want to thank the department heads for all the work that you guys put in for this. I know this is not your day-to-day job, so really appreciate your efforts.
I do have one question on wages. So wages are about 49%, I think, at the beginning. Is that pretty typical for a village of our size, or how do we kind of compare across other villages at kind of our population level?
It's in the ballpark of what you see other communities do. Some towns based on size, may rely more on contractual. That's the smaller towns.
Yeah.
But as they get larger, you see an even greater dependence on wages and less on contractual. I think we've got a good balance going right now in how we approach it based on what we see coming. This budget includes an additional 2 staff members that weren't previously budgeted because we see projects coming that are long-term that will need that help for a number of years. So that's why we're making a little bit of a shift there in this budget year.
Yeah, and thank you everyone who put this together as well. I think we're going the right path on trying to make sure our spending's the right place. I always just like those comparables too, just for comparison's sakes.
I think the biggest thing that we should be thankful for is the fire department and the way they operate. I mean, we're so fortunate to have the setup that we do have because we have people down there who want to do it. And they're doing it on their days off, and they don't have to, but they want to. And for the cost, we did a nice gesture and did some nice things for them and as far as pay a couple of years ago, but we're very fortunate to have that type of setup and to provide the service that we do to our community.
All right, any questions or comments from the public? Okay, hearing no further questions, could I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call or?
Yeah.
Roll call. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orth?
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker?
Yes.
Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Yedis?
Yes.
Trustee Elfman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, I declare the public hearing closed at 7:30 p.m. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of an ordinance amending Appendix D, Article 1 of the Village Code as it relates to the water sewer fees. May I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Patrick, I think this is you to go through the background, please.
Sure, I'd be happy to. It's what you had discussed at the prior budget meeting. This is a bit of a pass-through of the Winnetka sewer rates, plus a little bit extra for us because we've been taking on some larger water projects. So this would amend the combined water and sewer fee, increasing it by 3%.
Okay, any questions from the board?
Just a comment. So Todd mentioned last time that a couple of years ago I was critical of sort of a larger increase for the water bills. And so I've been thinking about this since the last meeting. And I think this increase is actually very practical. It is, as Patrick said, essentially a pass-through plus a little bit extra to cover our ongoing costs. And I think that is a very reasonable increase. The issue years ago seemed to be a much more arbitrary increase, and I like that this is focused on the pass-through and our actual costs. So I'm supportive of it.
Great.
I agree. Well, no one wants an additional cost. It's minimal compared, and if you don't do it, you'll see what happened to some of our western communities where they didn't have any increases, then all of a sudden they had to have like a 10, 20% increase in their water sewer fund because they didn't put monies away for capital improvements. So yes, we have to continue to do what we need to do, but it's not a radical increase, so it's a good idea.
Right, any comments from the public? Okay, Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orth?
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker?
Yes.
Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Yedis?
Yes.
Trustee Elfman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, item number 7, adoption of an ordinance establishing the fiscal year 2026-2027 village budget. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion to approve the budget for 2026, 2027.
Second.
Okay, we've been through the public hearing now, and I'm just going to ask, are there any additional questions related to the budget ordinance? Nope, okay. Any comments from the public? All right, Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orth?
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker?
Yes.
Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Yedis?
Yes.
Trustee Elfman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Item number 8, adoption of an ordinance approving an amendment to the planned unit development and relief from the village code at 770 Frontage Road. May I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Steve, I believe this is you to give us a little background, please?
Thank you. Fields Imports, Inc. is seeking an amendment to their PUD, sorry, push that back a bit more, to expand their Volvo showroom and their Volvo service facility, as well as to replace the existing car wash with a new car wash and a service or a vehicle prep facility. The Fields currently operates under a planned unit development ordinance, and this would be an amendment to that PUD. They also, as part of the proposed new car wash and prep facility, are requiring a rear yard variation from the minimum 20-foot rear yard requirement. They're seeking to have a setback of 5.92 feet. I would just note that that is very similar to the existing car wash facility. Both the Plan and Zoning Commission and Architectural Commission voted to recommend approval of the PUD amendment as well as the variations. The petitioner, or the petitioner's representative, is here to answer any questions you might have regarding their proposal.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Any comments or questions from the board?
No, first off, thank you for showing up. But I actually I drove over and I looked from behind. And I was curious what it would look like, what the changes would look like. And it seems, and there's some diagrams in here, very minimal for the neighbors. So I was excited to see that. I always think about the people who are closest to who would be impacted, and it seems very minimal impact. And so I'm in favor of this and supporting their business.
Okay.
As well, I agree that the new two-bay car wash will be really nice, getting cars quicker through there, probably improving what they're able to do and less effort for the guys that have to actually get out there and scrub the front, scrub the back, do all the stuff they do to prep it before it actually even goes into the car wash. So it'll be a nice plus for you guys and for the village.
Okay. You don't have to come to the microphone, but if there's anything you want to say, please join us. Otherwise, any other comments from the public on this item? All right. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orth?
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker?
Yes.
Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Yedis?
Yes.
Trustee Elfman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, item number 9, adoption of an ordinance granting approval of a special use and relief from the zoning ordinance standards to build a 2-story medical office building at 790 Frontage Road. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion to approve.
And if I may be, sorry, President Mendrick, we have an eagle-eyed attorney that caught a Scrivener's error in the ordinance, and I'd like to bring it to your attention. So Trustee Orth, if you're comfortable with your motion indicating on the next, second to the last line of the first page, instead of having amendments to the plan unit development ordinance, it should read, determine that the special use permit should be granted.
Yes.
Second.
All right. Steve, back to you.
Thank you, Madam President. North Shore MOB LLC is seeking a special use to redevelop a 2.24 per acre site at 790 Frontage Road. The existing site is developed with a 3-story office building with a connecting 1.5-story office building. The petitioner is proposing to tear that building down along with the other structures on the property and to construct a new 2-story, 24,000 square foot a medical office building. They're also seeking variations to the minimum rear yard requirement of 20 feet. They're proposing 17 feet and 4 inches for a difference of 2 feet and 8 inches. They're asking for relief from the maximum building height of 35 feet. The front portion of the entrance kind of parapet reaches a height of 38 feet 10 inches for a difference of 3 feet 10 inches. The main portion of the building meets that 35-foot height requirement. And then finally, they're seeking a variation or relief from the maximum driveway width. Our code only allows up to 25-foot wide driveway. They're proposing a 26-foot driveway for a difference of 1 foot. Both the Plan and Zoning Commission and Architectural Commissions voted to recommend approval of the proposed special use and variations. And again, the petitioner and their team are present if you have any questions for them.
I wondered if someone can at least come to the podium and just give us a little background on the building and the use of the building for anybody who might be watching online or who hasn't read the board packet, just to give us a really brief update. And also to say thank you for your interest in Northfield and continuing to try to be a part of our community. We appreciate that.
It's a terrific place, and I will try to be brief. That's not my strong suit. My name is John Talty. I'm CEO of OKW Architects. And the building is a 2-story, 12,000 square feet per floor medical office building intended for a variety of medical use types. The petitioner is currently in lease negotiations with a tenant for the ground floor and working through that as we speak. The second floor will be other concierge-type medical practitioners, which are attracted to this location, this community. The building will be kind of a bespoke medical office building with drop-off concierge. People, you pull your car up, they take your car for you. It's going to be a really lovely experience for those seeking health care in the community. The doctors are all coming from the community itself, the North Shore community. So it's a 4-sided masonry building with attention to detail on all 4 sides. Its primary elevation is to the north, and it sits far back on the site, so it's really not intrusive in terms of our frontage road experience.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any comments or questions from the board? Okay, any comments or questions from the public? All right, Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Orth?
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker?
Yes.
Trustee Fowler?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Yedis?
Yes.
Trustee Elfman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Congratulations. We look forward to having you in the community. Okay, now we get to the trustee liaison reports. So tonight I'm going to start on my right. Andrew Yedis, anything to share with any of your committees or anything else going on you want us to know about?
Now I feel bad those guys left. They're going to really miss out. I am very proud of the Hap Road Improvement Committee and the work that's been done by all of our community members on that. That's first and foremost. Well, take it back. That's second. First and foremost, I want to say happy anniversary to my wife. celebrating our 14th anniversary today. So Elizabeth, I pray you're not watching this. All right, some big updates at Sunset Ridge and Middle Fork. The big news was the referendum passed with 67% of our voting public in favor. It's a $40 million project. They've already worked with Pepper Construction, who built Sunset Ridge, who also did the work at New Trier, so very familiar. And it comes at a great time as the district was just awarded and maintained their AAA bond rating, and so that they can allocate for soft costs, covering the architecture, engineering, and consulting fees to reduce fees for the taxpayers. Let's see. They also, at Sunset Ridge, they looked at their math placement, their accelerated math placement, and aligned that with New Trier. They met up with other feeder schools to come up with comparable strategy and, I guess, criteria for advancing to that. Let's see, at Middle Fork, they had an Olympic theme challenge for reading that was really well attended. They had over 200 people join the PTO STEAM Night on February 25th. And very uniquely, all 6 of Sunset Ridge's robotics teams made the state competition. I actually attended that. It was wild. If you haven't seen a robotics competition, it's wonderfully inclusive. Everybody participates together. And then the Sunset Ridge Scholastic Bowl teams did fantastic. Out of 18 teams, the 8th grade placed 9th, 7th grade placed 6th, and a 7th grader, David Payne, placed 2nd overall. There was also some neat things done at the Sunset Ridge Green Club. They partnered with Go Green. Special shout out to 5th grade teacher Matthew Wilkinson, who partnered with Go Green, Sarah Cohn. They soil tested and plant research and got a grant awarded to them as a result to install native plants. And then they're continuing to work with the village to celebrate the centennial. District 29 and the Centennial Committee and the library have designed bookmarks to celebrate the upcoming August 22nd centennial event. They're making those available at school, the library, Public Hall, and Public Works. And at New Trier, we have freshman registration continues to take place. Athletics recognition, they had a Women in Sports Day. They also announced, the library announced that New Trier is the #1 ranked high school in terms of use of their Gale research resources and number 45 nationwide. Other than that, not much. So.
It's pretty inclusive. Thank you.
Did you see the list?
Yeah.
You saw it tonight, planning and zoning, a couple of things that have been worked on for a little while, so happy to see that move forward, more construction in town. And I know nothing to announce, but I know Steve is working hard on several things that will be forthcoming soon.
Great, thank you.
As far as the Park District, obviously their referendum passed as well. Great communication to the community on behalf of the Park District. I think that, you know, both the school and the Park District had pretty big asks, but I think looking at the Hap Road Committee, I think it's just another reflection of Northfield wanting to be the best and at a significant cost. As far as Go Green in conjunction with the village, again, this year is going to be doing the garbage pickup around town. I've been in contact with the school district about that.
Do you have a date yet or no?
I do, but I don't remember it off
Okay.
the top of my head.
Okay.
And then,
Earth Day, right?
pardon?
It's usually Earth Day.
Yeah, but they've got a half day. There's some issue with a field trip and something else, so I'll have that for you at the next meeting, but it is in April. And then, as far as Red Center, we're moving along, dealing with, you know, met with Chief Burkowski, a couple phone calls, and we've got a meeting next month, and just doing some strategic planning. A couple of towns are leaving potentially, so, and moving to a new dispatch, which we talked about at last meeting. And then I got to give a shout out to one of our residents, Megan Gallagher, who is a hockey player for New Trier Hockey, was MVP of the state finals and New Trier won. So
Great.
that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Orth.
Okay, Avoca School District met on Thursday, March 19th at 6 o'clock. They are very proud to announce that this is the 27th year in a row that they've, with their Science Olympiad, have gone to the regionals. So they've got a long history of doing very well in that area. I also spoke with the superintendent, and we're going to be putting a couple articles in their newsletter for the May, June articles for the Centennial, to let the residents that live over there and kids go to school there know about our Centennial. The next board meeting is April 16th. They've got a finance meeting on April 13th. Typical stuff for board. They're going through a new math curriculum. They had a big update on that, a great presentation by the staff and by the math teachers. So that'll be going on there. As far as the Winnetka Park District, their next meeting is Thursday, March 26th. It's Thursday at 6 o'clock. And their last meeting was just before or just after our last board meeting. There's always a lot of interesting things going on there. I would refer to go to their minutes because typically their meetings go longer than multiple of our meetings put together. So it's, I'm not going to be negative, but they do have long meetings, as one of your associates and I discussed and kind of laughed about. So that's on Thursday. Architectural met on March 9th, and they passed several things. There's one other that's coming up in April for their meeting. It was a sign issue that Steve had that group come back, that's going to come back again. As far as the Centennial, we just met the other day, and we'll be meeting the March 8th, and we'll have a longer list of things that we have finally approved and working on. So Tracy and I will be able to report on that. A lot more of what the schedule is going to entail in the day itself, and you know, the stuff's going out through multiple news agencies. And shout out to Mary Rhodes, who's been working very hard on a lot of the articles, as well as Melissa for the newsletter and the history of the village. Also, we're going to be doing a couple road shows. We're going to be going meeting the Rotary in first part of April, Winnetka Northfield Rotary. Tracy and myself and Mary and Melissa will be going in that. We're also going to be doing a presentation in this very boardroom to the Garden Club in May. And then in June, we're going to be doing a presentation at the Senior Center to get them on board, and if they have any input or any ideas. Some of them may have been around here for a while, so there may be some fascinating stories that they'd like to share with us. So we're just continuing to try to get the word out to as many sources as possible. Shout out to Bill Byron. He's worked very diligently with us and come up with a lot of great ideas, brainstorming. He's a large part of our committee. So I think it's going very well, and I appreciate all the hard work by everyone that's been involved, and I'm excited for August 22nd and whatever else we kind of maybe come up with.
Thank you. Trustee
All right.
Gillen.
For the Northwest Municipal Conference, this will piggyback on what Patrick sent out, one of our Friday updates, sorry. So at the March meeting, the conference voted to formally oppose a proposed bill that is part of the BUILD agenda. The bill is aimed at increasing housing, but the problem is that it preempts local authorities' ability to set their own residential zoning and basically creates a statewide zoning standard for property zoned residential. So it's something we're going to keep monitoring. They also formally opposed the decrease in LGDF funding from 6.47% to 6.23%. There were a lot of other bills that they're monitoring and watching, but I think those are probably the two big ones. And that's on the Northwest Municipal Conference. For the library, there was a meeting yesterday, but from the village's perspective, nothing really of note.
All right, Hap Road, everybody heard from them earlier. They're doing a great job. It's really nice, as a lot of us talked about, to see some folks who haven't been as involved in village things be involved. And I think there's quite a few people on that committee that we need to keep tapping for other things in the future, which is great. No ZBA, nobody's got any variances they're worried about. So no ZBA last month, no ZBA coming up. But to give away my weekend a little bit, Cub Scouts had a great breakfast, should mention that. The sausages were better this year and fully cooked, which was ideal. And then the Park District did a really nice job with the Easter egg hunt, as always. So my kids are in that kind of time frame right now. But great event, packed. Clarkson Park was packed to the gills with people.
Parking signs up all over.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it's great. It was a nice day out. It's great to see like the whole town come out for something like that. So I just want to give a couple shout outs more on that side of the world to Cub Scouts and Park Districts.
Thank you. Okay, department heads, it's your opportunity. I ask every month, does anybody have anything they'd like to add to their departmental reports that were provided in the packet? Or does anybody have any questions for our department heads while they're here?
Chief Burkowski, you had made a request for a new piece of equipment, and I had gotten a couple questions about Northfield with our size. We have a dive rescue team, which some people didn't know about. Does Northfield need a dive team?
Well, we do have bodies of water. We have the lagoon, we have the forest reserves, we have retention ponds, but this opportunity that Lieutenant Ricky found is a rare opportunity from Buffalo Grove with a low mileage, as he called it, a cream puff squad. It's in beautiful condition, and we wanted for a big toolbox for our technical rescue, our hazmat, our dive team. It allows our divers to actually get dressed inside the squad. Right now, everything's in a pickup truck, and you get dressed outside. Has a light tower, a winch. It can be used on the Edens Expressway. It has multiple purposes. And probably the biggest piece is, Chief Burke, you want to talk about Mavis a little bit?
So, is it one of these?
Sorry, Tom.
You have a voice that carries, but please.
Speak up.
It's not just for a dive team. It's going to have dive equipment in it, hazmat equipment, technical rescue, extrication, overhaul. We belong to Mavis Division 3, 17 towns around us. So the smaller towns, we can't afford to have our own specialized team. So if anything would happen in Northfield, we'd give the Division 3 team a call, whichever specialized team it was, and we'd get members from every department out of the 17 towns. This vehicle would also kind of be our way to say, hey, we have the specialized piece of equipment here. We'd be willing to do that. We don't have a lot of members that are on these specialized teams, so this is just another piece of equipment that would be excellent for us. Like I said, it's not just the dive equipment. I mean, it's going to be used for everything we do. It'll come out to structure fires. It'll come out to accidents if we call it to come out. So it's a great. It's not a big vehicle. It's a good little vehicle. It's good. It'll get around our town. Myself and Lieutenant Ricky went out and looked at it, talked about it with the Buffalo Grove members. It's out there right now. It's available, and I think if we could do something with it, it'd work out. Also, kind of with the truck leaving, we have some equipment that's rope equipment and stuff like that. That can go onto this vehicle too.
And I think it's important to note the special teams for Mavis are technical rescue, that's high and low angle special rescue, hazmat, dive, of course, and then fire investigations. So we try to, because we're a smaller department and part-time members, so we try to participate as much as possible, and I think this vehicle will give us a little edge on that opportunity as well. And as you know, in improving some of our vehicles, the cost to make a new vehicle is extraordinary right now across the board. And this one at the proposed price of $60,000 is I purchased a vehicle from Marion. They're really a good quality company, and I think it's a really good deal for us.
So we have room in the capital budget this year to make this purchase, but I want to make sure the group's comfortable before we head down that path. As I understand it, the Foreign Fire Insurance Board feels strongly enough about this purchase that they've offered to pay half the cost. So the fire chief's going to try to negotiate, but worst case scenario, $60,000 for the purchase. Foreign Fire would cover 30, which means 30,000 would come out of the 12 fund unless the group objects.
Yeah, as soon as we're get some guidance here, we'll schedule a special meeting of the FFIB, the Foreign Insurance Board, and present our case, then hopefully get it funded as well.
Lieutenant Ricky, great find. I mean, great job of yours to look and find that and see that that's available. Again, a toolbox like this is invaluable in all the uses it has. I think it's a great find, and I think, in trying to cut costs, great move. And it's something that'll last for a long time. We won't have to worry about replacing, or it won't be a high mileage vehicle. So good job.
I just want to know what his definition of a cream puff is, because I know Johnny has pretty high standards. And for it to be a cream puff, it must be pretty good. So
that's what I thought too when he mentioned it.
I was tipped off very early in this whole thing, and it's kind of cool how it worked out because the truck's leaving.
Right.
Going to take that spot.
But like, again, I know your standards are here. For you to call it a cream puff, it's got to be good, and I agree, it's definitely.
As a lot of you know, I'm kind of, I've been doing that a long time. So
Right.
A lot of people, so I was tipped off by a Buffalo Grove fireman, like, hey, our squad's up for sale. Nobody knows about it. Let's go look at it, and, looked at the maintenance records, and it was taken care of. And, yeah, so I think it's really just.
Nice job.
Great.
Buffalo Grove is very happy if this would work out, because a lot easier for them than getting,
Right.
broker and everything
Right.
like that. And they would much rather, met with their chief when he was out there, and, could work out good for both.
Nice.
Sounds like a win-win for both villages.
Chief Hutensky, I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit because we've all read about the neighboring burglaries in Northbrook and Winnetka, and anything we should be thinking about, or are these random acts? Are they the same groups? Do we have any information?
So I believe that an arrest was made in the last couple of days regarding some of the Northbrook and Winnetka events. Without saying too much, it's a specific group. These are not random events. Having said that, our officers are doing a lot of extra patrol in residential areas. We obviously encourage anybody, if they see something that is suspicious in any way, call 911. We're always happy to come out and check. And yeah, but these are targeted events.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
I just have one thing to say about the police department.
Okay.
Because I know we've really worked hard to get where we are today, as far as staffing. And I called the police department and I said to Mike, I was coming home, I saw a police officer by New Trier. I saw a police officer on Winnetka Avenue. I saw Mike at Willow and Wagner. I actually saw a police car on Sunset Ridge and a police car on North Hap, all within a matter of 15 minutes of each other. It's paying off, and I think that we should really feel good. We've always had great service. We've always had a great police department, but I just think that we're back to where we should have been, and it shows.
Great.
So thanks to the board for doing it.
Kudos to one of your officers. My wife and I were at the park with a bunch of families on Saturday over by us on the east side. One police officer stopped in that little parking area. He came out and actually walked around and introduced himself and thought, you talk about community policing in your neighborhood and doing the things you're going to be doing. I thought that was an excellent move on his part, and through your leadership, it was great. So thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Patrick, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Just a quick update on the library expansion project. We're at the phase where the architect is coming up with 3 concepts for us that are basically block diagrams, if you will, of where the building could be expanded to get us to about 10 to 13,000 square feet of usable space. Steve and I have looked at the concepts. We believe that they're going to be coming back in early, mid-April with some revised plans. We're going to get the group together to talk about those plans and forward a recommendation to the village board and get that out for your review and the public's review. It won't be into the pretty, this is what it's going to look like category. It's going to be more blocks of here's the concept that we're looking at. If there's enough data to pick one, we'll ask you to choose one, and we're going to start working on schematic design of that design. So coming forward to you, probably committee of whole in April. Or village board meeting. We've got a lot right now planned for committee hall.
And I just piled on a couple hours ago with the Hap Road Committee too, so
That's
we
okay,
added
we're
that
ready.
to the agenda. Right, thank you. Our village attorney substitute today, David, anything to report?
I have a very brief announcement that follows on the Northwest Municipal League's opposition to the BUILD Act. Greg Jones and I recently did a podcast episode for our firm's podcast series, Quorum Forum. If you're not familiar with it, it's available on our website. We just did a deep dive onto the BUILD Act, so if you want to listen to that, it echoes exactly where Northwest Municipal League came out, and we voiced the same concerns.
Okay, thank you. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Kathy Esterbrook, 1620 Mount Pleasant. I just want to thank the police department because there are searchlights that go across my bedroom window in my whole house twice a night, happens to coincide with my bathroom breaks in the middle of the night. And I see the searchlight going across, and it's twice a night, and I appreciate it.
Mike, why are your officers shining lights in her bathroom?
Okay, I think we're going to quickly adjourn now. So may I have a motion and a second to adjourn tonight's meeting? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.